Welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Pinchas. When I find that two different parts of my learning overlap, I try to focus on that as a short Vort. This week is Parshas Pinchas, and it talks about the transition of Moshe Rabbeinu to Yehoshua as being picked as the new leader of the Bnei Yisrael. Pinchas is read by Mincha already last Shabbos, and that's the day the Daf Yomi, the bottom of Daf Yuma, Daf Ayin Hey Amud Beis, and top of Ayin Vav Amud Aleph brings Pesukim from this pasuk, from this parsha. It says in Tehillim Ayin Ches Chaf Hey that Lechem Abirim Achal Ish, that man ate the bread of the angels, and that's referring to the mun. This is in Tehillim, and the reference is interpreted as being referring to Yehoshua, because Yehoshua, he ate mun corresponding to the amount of mun given to the remaining 3 million people in the desert. It's talking about when Yehoshua went with his Rebbe, Moshe Rabbeinu, to Har Sinai, and he waited there at the bottom of the mountain all 40 days. And that's what he was fed, the mun. It's learned out because the connection of the word ish, it says Moshe is commanded in this week's parsha to take a man asher ruach elokim bo, a man that is the spirit of God in him. So I'd like to discuss about what it is in ruach elokim that were the qualities that were sought in the new leader of the Bnei Yisrael. Now, Moshe Lieff mentioned that Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz's uncle was the Rosh Yeshiva in Nevardak, and someone asked him, who is the best Talmud in the yeshiva? Well, he said, this one's the best Lamdan, this one is the biggest Gaon, and different individual traits. But the best one overall, he pointed to the Stipler Gaon, Rabbi Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, and says, he's the best, he's Mavakesh. He's constantly seeking to grow in his Torah and his Yiddishkeit. And it's the same, Rav Chaim Shmulevitz in his Sichos Mussar explains that this is the same quality that was desired in Yehoshua. Yehoshua was a Mevakesh. He was constantly learning. That's why he went with his Rebbe. He walked with him to get to Har Sinai to get that extra time with his Rebbe, as well as the time back. And even he didn't want to waste a second. When Moshe came down, he was there waiting to learn Torah from his Rebbe. So he was a Mavakesh. But a Mavakesh can go on a different level. And that is, as Rashi says, it says that Moshe got his request for the leadership, someone that was Yuchel Haloch Keneged Rucho Shel Kol Echad Ve'echad. He was explaining the word Ruach, that he goes, the Sifrei says it's opposite the spirit of everyone, but it's also a matter of corresponding to each person, the empathy to work with each individual as a leader to care for everyone and give individual solutions, not give it a mass product, a mass approach. Now, did Yehoshua really get the food, the 3 million portions of mun that everyone else got? He didn't need that. So the Sfas Emes says that it's referring to the fact that normally, in order to merit something like the mun, you need to be part of the tzibur, and that tzibur has enough zechus to get for each individual. But if an individual leaves the tzibur even a little bit, he goes away, then he loses out that merit and he won't get something like the mun. But Yehoshua was so great that his spiritual level was like that of 3 million people. Therefore, he himself merited his own mun. So, the fact is that Rashi also says Keneged, opposite, and I think that opposite the people that he was able to resist other people. I think this shows the development of Yehoshua from the time when he was out with Meraglim. That one of the reasons given that Moshe specifically gave a tefillah only for Yehoshua is because he was afraid that Yehoshua would be didn't want to create waves, and that he would go with the other 10 people that were saying bad things about Eretz Yisrael, so he would go with them. So Moshe blessed him that he would resist, and he did. And that ability is shown that he's matured, that now he's able to be a leader because of that same characteristic that he he developed, that he's able to go against when people cause trouble. He's going to resist them. He doesn't have to follow the will of the people if it's the wrong thing, like as Shaul did. Shaul got punished because he was supposed to destroy all the calves and the animals of Amalek, and the people said, let's bring them as a korban, and he shouldn't have listened. He's the leader. So we can take perhaps 3 different lessons here, that we should always be mavakesh, always find ways to serve Hashem better, whether it's chesed and different mitzvos or limud Torah. We should deal with other people empathetically, as individuals, not think that one solution fits everyone. And when there's a crazy spirit in the country or the world like we see today, we should be strong enough to resist and be keneged kol echad ve'echad. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful Shabbos.